We used to do like a whole intro bit, but now I put it in Aaron, you might not understand what this term is. Post production, okay?
Sure.
I added in post. That's what we in the biz call it. Podcast biz.
Do you want me to record here as well or no?
No. Welcome back, everybody, to the Storymoders podcast. My name is Robert. Mike is here, and we are joined by a very, very, very special guest here on the screen, and I'm pointing at Aaron goddamn Bleyert. Holy shit.
That's right. That's my God-given. My parents gave me the middle name Goddamn, which not great when you're in elementary school, but as you get older.
Well, I mean, you can't get in trouble for it. Just be like, hey, it's my name.
Sure. Thanks.
Then they're like, why'd you put holy shit on the end of it? And you said, you know what? I'm allowed to do it. I'm a kid. But no, thank you.
That's an ancestral name. That's from the old country.
Bley,
thanks,
Aaron, Bley, don't thank us. Thank you. Are you shitting me? Are you kidding me? Do you know who you are? Do you know who you work for? Come on.
Right. I feel very lucky to be here and also to have such a great job. So there we
go. Aaron, so we have a lot of pretty much all of our viewers, listeners, are members of the Kinda Funny universe, Kinda Funny Best Friends. It's an online like gaming podcast, community, incredible community. So for those who maybe don't know who you are and what you do, can you give us just like a little bit of a rundown on Aaron Bleyert?
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Aaron Bleyert. Some people know me as Bley. I work for Conan O'Brien. I produce his podcast, Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend, and his travel show, Conan O'Brien Must Go. I've been working for him since right out of college, 2001. I created a thing called Clueless Gamer, which is kind of a gaming series online. It used to be part of our TV show, and now it's kind of a YouTube thing where I kind of teach Conan how to play games, and he's bad at them. So therein lies the comedy. We're having a blast. Our new season of season 2 of Conan O'Brien Must Go drops May 8th, which we're really excited about. We're having a good time making podcasts and making the sillies, and I enjoy making some comedy. So I feel very grateful and lucky to work with such great folks, Conan included.
Yeah, and I mean, personally, Conan O'Brien is legitimately a hero of mine. Just a legend in comedy. The greatest Tonight Show host of all time. All right, greatest late night show host. I'll say it. All right.
Thank you. On his behalf. Thank you. Thank you.
Fuck you, Kimmel. No, I don't know. Jimmy Kimmel seems nice. I don't know.
He's all right.
Jimmy Kimmel's also very nice. When he came to the podcast, he brought us all barbecue. He drove himself.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, hey, man, can you help me grab this barbecue? I was like, sure. And so we went down and we all ate barbecue before we did the podcast. So a nice chap as well. A nice chap.
Love it.
I'm just a little blurry, so I'm just fixing that. Yeah. I think it's, you know what? It's probably this giant, and I'm pointing it out so now no one's not going to see it. This giant fucking zit on my cheek is catching the camera.
I don't see the zit. I see an amazing beard, an amazing hairstyle. You both have fantastic beards. The three of us, I think, actually. Are
oh my god! Yeah, yours is much more, clean cut and looks like you did it on purpose.
Well, if it goes too long, it starts to catch in the Jeep door when I close it. So I got to keep it short, just because I'm clumsy.
Yeah, I realized just the other day that mine might be a bit too long because I sent Mike a picture. I just came back from Las Vegas. I was there last week for a fun little event called WWE WrestleMania. I have a C4 Energy. They were giving these out after the show, so I took 2 and I chugged one right then, and then I fought a kid for a Prime Energy.
Whoa!
God,
so there you go.
I won.
I love it. That's great.
Real glad you beat up a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. I've never been to a wrestling event. A lot of my friends are into wrestling. I love wrestling. I used to watch it all the time as a kid. I'm a huge fan of it now, and I've been lucky enough to work with several stars of wrestling. They're all incredibly nice. They understand the assignment. They're self-aware. But I've never been to an event does it? Here's my question for you. Being there in person, as I would imagine, it looks kind of different because you're not watching the camera angles, right? So, is it as entertaining? Is it more entertaining? Is it entertaining in a different way? What is it like? And would you recommend that I go, or is it going to kind of dispel the magic around wrestling?
So I will say the very first time I went to a wrestling show, this is years ago now, and it was what they call house shows, WWE house shows, which are just non-televised events. So it's just, it's 2 hours of matches. There's a small stage, there's the ring in the middle, and that's all it is. So you're not seeing the production. There's none of the camera angles, all that stuff. So the first time that I went to one, first thing I noticed is that the ring is way smaller than you ever think it's going to be. When you see it on TV. But for these shows that are like WrestleMania, obviously is the top of the list for a lot of people, but just these big live events, like WWE SmackDown, AEW Dynamite, AEW's pay-per-views, anything like that. TNA, went to one of those this last week. Being there, it's obviously different because you don't hear the commentary. You're just seeing the action in front of you instead of crowd shot or shot. But the energy in the stadium or the arena or wherever you're at, it puts it over the top.
That's great.
Yeah, this last week, I ended up going to 5 different shows in total.
Nice.
Because wherever Vegas or wherever WrestleMania is, that whole week that's the wrestling. I don't want to say Mecca because that seems like kind of rude.
Epicenter.
A little, epicenter. Thank you. Yeah,
Epicenter.
It's the epicenter of pro wrestling in the world. So there are companies that come from all around the world and they put on shows like almost 24/7 for about a week. So I got there Wednesday evening, got a little drunk, went to bed, woke up. Next day, I actually took a friend of mine to 2 wrestling shows back to back. He had never been there. He'd never watched wrestling, but he lives out there. And I was like, hey, man.
Oh,
I was like, hey, do you want, if you're down for it, I'll take you to a couple shows, like a couple indie shows. It'll be fun. And he ended up having a blast to the point where we went to those 2. Friday night, I went to his house. He also has a podcast, so we were talking about it. And then as I'm at his house hanging out, with him and his fiance and another friend, we're looking online and I'm like, hey guys, I think I'm going to go tomorrow in about 12 hours. There's a wrestling event called Effie's Big Gay Brunch. I'm going to go to it. Do you guys want to go to it and buy tickets right now? Bought tickets. Went there 11 a.m. the next day.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And then I changed and went to WrestleMania night 1. So.
Dude, can I just say a thing where it's such an amazing experience to be able to introduce somebody to one of your passions for the first time.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Oh,
Isn't it just cool to be like, oh, you are going to fucking love this, dude. And that's so great you got to do that. That's really, really cool. I love that.
Yeah, I'm so glad that we went to Big Gay Brunch on Saturday morning because we can kind of segue this into something for you. There's a match, 7-person scramble match. Just means that every 2 minutes another person comes in. 6 people were known. The last person was a surprise. 6 people are in the ring. Countdown goes. We hear this weird kind of circusy music.
Okay.
Oh.
Love that Danhausen.
Great.
Love that Danhausen. Very nice, very evil. Danhausen also, as we when Aaron got on here, noticed it. No, he's not. He's very nice, very evil.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Kind of a I see, a chaotic good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best way to describe him.
100%.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I know he was the first fan we had on for Conan O'Brien Needs a Fan, which now we do every Thursday. So, and he was great, and really just a really funny dude. Again, like self-aware, gets it, good vibes. Didn't try to be super jokey. He was just kind of himself, which was great. So, he was. That's great. I'm glad to hear he's doing great. That's so cool.
Yeah. He was out with an injury for a little while. Came back late last year or sometime last year, and is just kind of he's Danhausen. People love Danhausen.
That's great.
And
present company included. Yeah.
Yeah. Except for Mike.
Danhausen,
Mike
if you're listening,
I don't know.
we love you, dude.
What?
Yeah, we love you.
No. Don't you put that evil on me.
Oh, okay. No, we don't love you. Sorry.
I will curse you.
We respect you. How about we respect you?
No, we respect him and we love him. And Danhausen, if you are listening, you're also more than welcome to join us here. We can talk Simpsons video games.
There we go.
Yeah, because he was a massive Conan fan. I listened to that episode again probably about a month ago. Just out of nowhere, it just came up on like my YouTube, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot he did this.
That's great. Yeah, it's been good. The Conan Fans podcast has been going for a couple years now, and it's really, man, we recorded another fan today, and I think just so lucky that our fans are so great. I mean, truly, like just nice, kind, funny, smart, just great folks, and it's I can't tell you the number of times we used to do a thing called Twitch Wednesdays back when we were on the Warner Brothers lot, and kind of every Wednesday I would stream with somebody, and celebrities would come on and they would be kind of nervous, like, should I not look at the chat, like, should I, and I'd be like, no, our fans are great, and across the board, like, really, really great, and just everybody had such a great, pleasant experience, and our fans are just really cool, and so there's nothing to be afraid of when we would live stream, because every once in a while you get like whatever troll in the chat, but far and away, I mean, just great fans. So, and that's what's so great about this, our travel show is we're visiting our fans across the world, and they're really funny, and they're just great. So
I don't know, I have some questions about that, but before we dive too deep into it, we typically just like to start off with Mike, how was your weekend? Aaron, how was your weekend?
Let's
how are we all doing?
Mike,
catch up really quick, because like I said, I was busy doing stuff. So
I think I'll go ahead and go first here, not to take some
pressure off. Well, he did ask
Aaron.
A direct question, so
I did.
Answering it would be great.
I mean, I do ignore him almost constantly.
Yeah,
it's one of the pillars of our friendship.
Sounds like a long-standing fight, but okay.
Much like any long-standing fight, we've turned it into content.
There you go. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what? Not fight behind closed doors. We can.
Exactly.
Also, how was your weekend? What happened this
weekend? Was good. My mother was admitted to the hospital over the weekend.
God damn it, Mike.
So, yeah, this is what they say, tragedy plus time equals comedy. I have just hit the fast forward on the time part of that. So now I'm just like, all right, this happened not even a week ago, and I'm already chuckling about it.
You hit the fast forward on the time and the multiplication on the tragedy.
Yes.
So,
it is what it is. It be like that sometimes. I don't think it'd be like it do. But so we discovered that she has a very slow internal bleed somewhere, and we found this out because on Friday she saw her doctor, ran just a full battery of tests because stroke patient, and did all the blood work, and then late that night my dad gets a call from the doctor's office saying, get her to the hospital immediately. She is incredibly anemic.
Oh no.
And this is when I learned that the normal hemoglobin level in your blood is 11 on some sort of scale. 7 is the minimum. If you get to 7, you are going to the hospital. Anything below that is really, it's getting real dicey.
Yeah.
My mom was at 3.1.
Oh, dang.
Yes.
That's scary.
Yes, it was scary, but then I went and I saw her, and she was asking us to tie bed sheets together so we could lower her out of the hospital room window because she did not want to be there. And I'm like, you're going to do fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
they'll take care of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so she's home now. She's doing fine. Feeding the birds, putting together puzzles, bothering my dad and brother. So,
does she have a favorite puzzle or favorite kind of puzzle that she likes? Is she a jigsaw puzzle fan or something else?
Yeah, we're working our way to like more complex jigsaw puzzles. Right now, it's they're like 150 piece maybe at tops.
That's my max, dude. That's my max.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
that's my max. So I can't. I can barely even do triple digits.
Oh man,
She's way ahead of me. That's fantastic.
I got stuck on like a 35-piece puzzle once and was just like, this is not my thing.
All right, that's my sweet spot.
Okay, you know what?
That's my sweet spot. Yeah.
I believe in you, Robert. We can get that puzzle together. There it is.
I lost it, actually.
Well, I'm glad she's on the mend.
She's doing good. You know, had a nice little Easter. We made a ham. And then I proceeded to actually, for the first time in years, I bought some games for my Switch. So
congratulations! What'd you buy?
Thank you.
Did you found your Switch?
Yeah, when I went over to my parents' house, I grabbed it from there. So I'm like, hey, you ain't using this. I paid for it. Not really. Gift from an ex-girlfriend.
Yeah,
but
that means it's yours.
Yeah, it's mine now. So I got the Borderlands Pandora collection because I have to own at least one Borderlands game on every gaming platform I have.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So
it's in the Constitution, actually. Yeah.
And then I picked up Disco. Then I picked up Disco Elysium. Because
have you played this Disco Elysium before?
I have not.
Right.
So in one of my group chats, everybody in there, they are now revisiting it. Like, just as a collective thing, I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'll join the doctors in this. So
here's the thing about Disco Elysium. Everybody is like, it's the best game in the world. Oh my god, Disco Elysium.
Yeah.
And I started playing it, and I was like, this game is the worst. It sucks. But I was like, I'll give it 5 more minutes. 8 hours later, I'm so deep in a Disco Elysium hole, and it truly is one of the greatest games ever made. It's so fun and unique, and the storytelling is absolutely top notch. So those people are right. It is one of the greatest games ever. So, but if you hate it in the beginning, what I'm trying to say to you is push through, because it's fantastic. It's just so unique. But I normally cannot stand games, and this is so petty and selfish, that happen at that angle. That like
isometric.
Yeah, I know, because you recently tried to stream Baldur's Gate 3, one of the greatest fucking games of all time, got about an hour in, and was like, fuck this game.
Turn-based combat. I'm not saying it's not good. I'm just saying the turn-based combat. But the isometric view, weirdly, I find very off-putting. Yeah. But that game, Disco Elysium, is fantastic. Absolutely. Yeah. So many good fun reveals in that game.
Oh, I'm so excited.
The comedy is great. It's just really, really well done. Baldur's Gate 3, again, I don't hate it. Turn-based combat, not for me.
Yeah.
Not for me. I will say something, though, Robert, which is, and this is, I think, an important distinction to make, which is, so I do a lot of live streaming. That's how Robert and I know each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a different vibe.
Yeah. Live
streaming something than it is playing it.
100%. Yeah.
And of course, and you guys know, like you have a podcast here, and when you're performing, you kind of need to. I like to keep it moving, and you always have to comment on something. And I found normally, and I don't know if this is right or wrong, but I will have a snap judge. It's good to make declarative statements that are just these big crazy balloons you're sending up, because then people are like, no, you're wrong, or yeah, I agree, whatever. And it doesn't help to be any shade of gray when you're trying to make people laugh.
Yeah,
I think is so. Me playing Baldur's Gate or any game, streaming it, is very different for me actually playing it in real life and actually getting into it. And that's why, like, I didn't play Last of Us 2. When I first played those games, did not play them on stream at all because I just wanted to experience them. And there's a lot of other games like that too, where I just kind of wanted to just dig in and do it for real and not do it like while people are watching,
Yeah. No, it definitely, I could feel the kind of playing it up a bit more. But yeah, the Baldur's Gate 3 stream, I was just like,
of course.
Because Baldur's Gate 3, it's an incredible game. Probably not a good streaming game unless you're doing if you're doing like a multiplayer run with some people, and then it's more of like the party vibe. And the gameplay itself is slow, but then there's 2, 3, 4 people that can all
Well, and also I'll say that, I agree. And also I think that it's a comfort level. I think that it's much easier to, what do I think? I think it's a comfort level. I think I'm not comfortable because I haven't played a lot of turn-based games. So I'm not really comfortable with, I don't know how it's going to go or how long it takes something to develop in that kind of a game. So it really wasn't going to have a good chance. You know, in terms of me loving it on the stream. And that's kind of why I played it, because I was like, oh yeah, this game is probably I'm probably going to massacre it. But that's not really how I feel about Baldur's Gate 3. That's just kind of like, we were kind of doing a bit, with that. And sometimes you have to, and sometimes that's what it is. But I it probably deserves another chance at some point when I want to dig into a really big game. I just finished Cyberpunk 2077, and am going to start playing the DLC because I wanted to kind of dig into something really, really juicy and big. But that also is a game that I didn't really want to start on the stream because I kind of wanted to play it for real, because I wanted to be like, what is this like? Like, I don't want to have to make jokes every 30 seconds.
I know Mike's most recent streams have been Cyberpunk 2077.
My first playthrough of Cyberpunk, and I'm
really fun.
I'm like, I really wish I didn't put this on, like, have to pigeonhole myself into doing this on stream. Like,
it's tough. It's tough because it's, because when you're streaming at something, it can't be 100% real, because real life is very boring.
That's why my streams are not entertaining, because I'm just playing games, no camera, just
talk on this podcast.
No, that's not even a negative one. That is pretty much why I stream to play video games. In essentially, like, I'm playing video games just with my friends in the room. You're not talking all the time. I'm not on camera. I'm not constantly, entertaining, if you will. It's just, you know what? I'm playing a game. Let me go live, and then if anybody is in chat and like we're chatting, cool. If not, I'm just playing the game how I'm going to play the game anyway.
Exactly. That's great.
So when I say, like, my streams are boring, it's because that's kind of almost the point.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's one thing I think is so fantastic about where we're at now in terms of the landscape of entertainment. It's, there's so many different ways to spend your time. And so, my dad had this phrase. My dad was a therapist, and he had this phrase, which is, all behavior is purposeful, which is, we might not know why we're doing something. We might not agree with it, but nobody does anything randomly, right? Like, all behavior is purposeful. So let's say you're in a bad relationship. You're in it. You're choosing to be in this relationship. Like, so for some reason, it could be fear of being alone. Could be you think you deserve it. Whatever it is, you are choosing to stay in that relationship. And that's also kind of like, in terms of how we spend our time and how if we want to make something, like, somebody's like, I really want to be a writer. I'm like, well, do you write? They're like, no. I'm like, well, then you don't want to be a writer. Or if you do, you haven't gotten over whatever that fear is, because you're choosing to not write, right? So maybe you're scared of rejection, you're scared of failure, you're scared of being bad, whatever it is, but you are choosing to not write because you could choose to do it. So I think when it comes to entertainment, it's really interesting because there's so many different ways to entertain ourselves. You have everything from TikTok to books to podcasts to regular radio to anything. And so I think I don't believe in the term guilty pleasures. Right, there you go.
Here. Yeah.
Hey, look at that.
Right, I love it.
It's a real one. This is Fahrenheit 182 by Mark Hoppus of Blink 182.
Hey, there we go.
I took the dust cover off because I put it in a bag, but
I know I don't do the I don't read with dust covers on. Yeah. Oh, we got another. What do you got, Mike? What's your book?
I have
Hey, that's
Android's
awesome.
Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick.
Philip K. Dick, classic.
Yeah.
Philly D.
But I think that's what's so interesting is people think like, I should be watching this, or I should be. No, you should be entertaining yourself. And, especially in this time where we're kind of so isolated, I think live streaming, I really like live streaming, not just because I like to perform and I like to communicate and connect with people, which is why I like doing it. But I also really like watching it. I watch a lot of Twitch.
Yeah.
And, so I think because I really love that connection on the other side as a fan, I'm a fan of other people as well. And so that's really cool too. So I think live streaming is a really exciting kind of form of entertainment. And as we all know, entertainment doesn't replace anything else. Like live stream is not replacing television. It's just another thing.
Yeah.
You know, which is there's a seat at the table for everything. So
yeah,
man, live streaming is great. And I love that. Yeah, we all do live streams in different ways, which is really fun. So
yeah. I mean, I don't know about you. I typically will have I'll have Twitch on like a second screen, usually like a laptop screen or anything, while I'm playing games on my big TV or doing something on the TV. And then if I've got either a live stream, like a Twitch stream, or YouTube videos, a lot of times I'll fall into like an old Conan late night clip hole on YouTube and just start watching old things. And you're like, they probably couldn't do this today, but it's we're here now.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think that a lot of that stuff. I mean, some of that stuff doesn't age well.
Yeah.
But some of it, it's not that they couldn't do it today. It's like everybody's doing it today. It's like everybody.
Yeah.
There's so much great comedy out there. I mean, I'm a really firm believer in less gatekeeping. I think that people are so funny. I mean, the funniest person I know is my friend Scott Bailey, who I've known since 8th grade. That dude is like the funniest person I've ever met. There's another person who's so funny. His name's Buddy Blackman. He's one of our editors. He is like one of the funniest. And I'm putting this at the level of like anybody I've met. Like these people are like, you know how there's comedians who can just say something and it's funny? Like, who are your guys' favorite comedians? Like, who are some favorite comedians for you guys?
Ooh.
Favorite comedy?
Kyle Kinane.
Yeah.
Kyle Kinane is a great example.
Kyle Kinane.
Chicago's own. I love Kyle.
Yeah.
And he is the kind of guy who can just say a thing and no one else, and I could say it, not funny. Kyle says it, it's great. He's had a whole bit about how he had to ride his bike everywhere and he was getting big thighs, and it was just like so. I was like, why am I laughing at this? And because Kyle is really, really funny. So anyway, all that to say, I like the fact that, YouTube, all you need, every camera, every phone has a camera. Mm-hmm. You can get out there, you can get your comedy out there via Twitter or X to Instagram to anything. So I love the removal of gatekeepers. So we could do a podcast here like this. We don't need to have a company. We could just do it, which is great because so many people have such unique voices and ways of looking at the world that I don't have, that you don't have, So I think that I love that. I say the democracy in comedy and just in entertainment and creativity in general is always a good thing, I think.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. You're not wrong. Yeah, can we and if we can, I don't know if this is allowed. Because wasn't there like a recent trailer for the new season of Conan O'Brien Must Go? Was there a trailer that came out the other day?
I think so. I think it just dropped. Yeah.
Can we watch that on Scream, or are we going to get in trouble if we have it in the podcast or something?
I don't know. You're asking the wrong guy.
That's fair. Yeah. Well then.
I mean, go for it, and then if they tell you to take it down, I guess. Right?
Yeah. Well,
I was about to say, didn't sound like a no to me.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. Hello, passengers. This is your pilot speaking. I'd like to thank you for choosing us. I know you have your choice of fake captains.
I thank you so much for having me. I like to blend in. I don't want to look like a tourist.
You want to buy a map?
And it just says, Google it! This place is full of incredible culture.
You look like Jackson Pollock vomited on someone who was standing nearby.
It's very important to get a local guide. Is it Javier Bardem? Is it Bardem?
Yeah, I was forced to be here.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro.
When in New Zealand, you have to haka with Taika Waititi.
There we go. These are good eyes, right?
They're good eyes for the
Then why don't you put me in a film?
This is it.
No! That's it, guys. Let's go! I could do this all day. In fact, I think I will.
How do I look in person?
Alarming.
Alarming!
Oh my God! Look at them go!
Kazakhstan loves me.
Kazakhstan loves me?
Yeah, very much.
I should go to Kazakhstan.
Yes. Okay, it was so nice to meet you.
Yeah, when a fan is cutting it off,
Bye-bye.
you know that I've gone too far.
What I found when I was looking on YouTube, Bley, is a clip, like one of the, you know, there's a lot of those clips. It's like, you know, the best of like Conan O'Brien's doing this. I found one about you. A lot of like Clueless Gamer stuff.
Cool. That's great.
So what I want to do here, it's like 6 minutes long or whatever. Let's see here. Oh, I gotta find it again. Hold on.
No problem.
I'm gonna stop sharing here real quick because I gotta go to my other YouTube channel.
Fantastic. Mike, do you have some stuff you want to discuss while Robert's looking up a clip?
And I just put on the trailer for the new season of Conan O'Brien Must Go.
Okay, great.
So I am just...
I'll watch your face as you watch it, and then I'll judge you based on your facial expressions.
Oh my God, Javier Bardem's going to be on. I need to see this.
I'm going to watch the trailer in the reflection in your eyes as you're watching it.
This is... God.
I love watching
Michael. He's so...
This is fantastic.
God,
one thing I'll say to cover the silence is we had a great event here in Los Angeles where we got to show an audience the first episode.
Ooh.
Oh yeah,
those were really great. Fun. And it was really cool to see it on the big screen and see it with people. It was so cool to see that because you know, I think when you're making stuff, and I don't know if you guys feel the same way or not, but I've felt many times over the years that it kind of becomes this thing. You know, we did a daily show for decades, and when you're kind of doing a show every day, a TV show every day, you're kind of just so focused on show and the little things, right? Like, oh, I need to take 30 seconds out of this, you know, this bits because somebody's going to be on it. We have to shorten the time, and or this laugh needs to whatever. You're so focused on these tiny little things, you kind of forget that show is going to be broadcast and that other people are going to see this show. And I can't tell you the number of times that it's happened to me where I will just be driving home and I'll get a text from somebody, be like, oh my God, that was so funny. I'll be like, what are you talking about? And they'll send me like a screen grab and I'll be like, oh, right. That thing where I played Elton John's, you know, body double was broadcast to the world. You know, it's really interesting. One of the first bits I did on late night with Conan O'Brien back in the day was I was like a bad X-Man or something. And I could give myself a wedgie. That was my whole power. And so it's the crew guys pulling on this giant rope that's attached to a huge piece of underwear, and I'm just getting completely, destroyed. And I was like, "Oh, right, that was a thing that was on national television." It's very weird to think about. So it was incredibly cool to have this screening where, you know, I think like 300 people or something got to see the first episode, and you're like, "Oh, that's right." Like, you know, because when we're traveling and doing all these shows, it's like up early, shoot all day. You're kind of go, eat when you can. You get back to the hotel and you just kind of pass out until the next day. And then, you know, our fantastic editors, led by Rachel Yoder and Matt Shaw, you know, put these amazing things together, and Mike Sweeney, and kind of heading the whole thing, and Jesse Gaskell and Jose Arroyo, and kind of everybody's working together and just trying to get this ship in the air, and then we send it off to HBO, and then, oh my God, and now there's press for it, and then people see it. You forget because you're just trying to get it done. So it's like very cool to see that.
Yeah,
I'm Mike, incredibly cool that I got to see you watch that trailer in real time. That made me feel really good, man. I like it.
I'm so excited for this new season. I watched the last one. I've watched the Conan in all those episodes multiple times. You know, before the Conan, Conan Without Borders, and great work. And it's definitely a little bit weirder though. The Conan O'Brien Must Go, simply because there's no audience So like when you're watching the Without Borders ones, you know, it's I don't know exactly how you guys do it, but there's the show, and then you're hearing the audience react to it, or you're hearing an audience react to it.
We used to with Conan Without Borders. It was when we were still doing the TV show, and so we had an audience coming in every day. So it was very easy to just show them that show or have another screening because we had the studio space, we had the seats, we had the mechanism for getting people there. So that was great. The thing I think that probably people don't realize is with Conan Without Borders, we were also doing a show. So like we would do a daily show and then the rest of the show would have a week off. And Conan and Sweeney and me and Jesse and Jose and all these people and Jason Chalemi would all then jump on a plane, go shoot a show, come back like on Sunday and go back to the TV show every day. So it was very intense. It was very exhausting, very rewarding, obviously, but also a very different thing because we had to turn those shows around really fast. So, we did a couple shows that were based on what Trump had said. So he's like, I'm going to build a wall. And then we went to Mexico City. Right? And then he's like, I want to buy Greenland. So then we hopped on a plane and we go to Greenland. And then he's like, oh, Haiti's a shithole country. And so we went to Haiti and to show it was not a shithole country. And those had to be turned around just very quickly just because of the nature of how we did them. But these HBO Max shows or these Max shows, it's really a different shooting schedule. It's a different vibe when we're shooting. It's much more cinematic. We've got, we have a drone operator in every country or operators that we use. And the comedy is different. When you don't have to edit for laughs, you can really be a lot more subtle and surgical about the kind of jokes you can do. I remember doing Clueless Gamers in front of a live audience, and it was always so frustrating because, well, I feel very grateful that it got big laughs, but you would get this big laugh and then you couldn't put anything else that mattered right after that. You had to wait then for the laugh to dissipate. And that really just changes the rhythm of the comedy that you are allowed to do. You can't do these kind of subtle, little bits and bobs here and there, or really set up anything kind of surgical because you have to have this kind of big laughter. So it really does the shows do feel different, and that's it's not just because the laughter is not there, it's because it's a different editing.
There's a different editing, a different flow to it and everything. And it's very much,
and I think, and I don't prefer one over the other. I think they're both great. But I think that we did that other kind of show for so many years, which was great. And now it's really fun that we get to try this and do this as well, and take these kind of big swings and all that stuff, and also the fact that this new show is focused on our fans. I really love, because that's something I've always kind of been the surrogate, the fan surrogate. So in the room, kind of I'm always the person who knows what the fans are kind of looking for, and I talk to the fans a lot on Reddit, and I'm the most available from our crew. So
you do Twitch streams all the time. You actually interact with the people on the Twitch streams to the point where I messaged you in a whisper. It was like, hey, can you be on the podcast? And
sure, yeah.
we had to work out timing and everything, obviously, but but yeah, let's see.
And it's great. I love, because I am also a fan, not just of Conan, but of other people and other shows and stuff. So it's really cool to be able to be like, it's not exactly paying it forward. I guess it's giving it back or whatever. I don't know what the phrase is, but I love the fact that I can be for fans of ours what I want from the shows and people that I love. So
and cool. It also helps that you're not an asshole, which
that's big.
It's good.
Real big.
It's good.
Real.
Yeah, that does help. Although if you heard how I treated Baldur's Gate 3, you wouldn't agree.
Hated it.
Wouldn't agree. It's a great game.
Sent hate mail to Larian. He wrote it on stream. It was pretty nuts.
It's a great game.
Yeah.
No, it's just turn-based combat I need to get better at. It's my shortcomings, really. It's not their fault. It's my shortcomings. And society would agree. Everybody says that that's an amazing game, and it is.
So get this queued up here. So, the best of Aaron Blair. It is 6 minutes long now of a thank you on the end of it. I don't know who made this, why they made this.
I'm not exactly sure what this is. It's somebody cut together a bunch of clips.
Yeah, it's just the one clip of Harrison Ford telling you to shut the fuck up because that makes me laugh.
That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, that was such a fun day. That was a really great day. And I have to really give, when it comes to that clip, I need really, Sona is the person who's the MVP there, because as she is, by the way, generally in life and on the podcast, she is the person. If you watch that clip, so for those who haven't seen the clip, Harrison Ford came on Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. Obviously, we're all gigantic fans of Harrison Ford. And so I dressed up for that. And I normally don't dress up, but I put on a button-down shirt. It wasn't even that dressed up. It was kind of just like a sweater and kind of a pink button-down shirt. Anyway, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, you look so nice today." And I was like, "Okay, but this is not." I just normally look like shit. Like what? Like why are you saying that now? I'm
put on a button up and a sweater. What the hell's going on here?
Not even right. Anyway, and I was kind of doing that bit around the office, like and then so Harrison Ford comes in. We're all really nervous, and then so he kind of calls me out in the podcast room in our studio. I always where I sit is right off of Sona's shoulder. So right off of Sona's right shoulder, I'm kind of sitting there behind the board. And I'm in the eye line of the guest every time. Oh. Every person that comes in, celebrity, I'm in their eye line. So obviously I want to make them feel comfortable. So I'm gregarious and kind of silently laughing and engaging with them as needed. And he calls me out in this clip. So for those of you who haven't seen it, Harrison Ford says, let's let some other people speak. And he points to me and he goes, "You haven't said one fucking word." And because there's a mic in front of me.
Yeah. And
then I ask Conan, "Is it okay if I speak?" And Conan makes the joke, "Sure, it's your last day," meaning like I'm about to fire you. And so then I black out as it's Harrison Ford, and I'm like, "Oh my God, what am I going to say?" And so I've just been doing this bit all day of saying, I dressed up. Do I normally look like shit? I just flipped into this thing, which I had been saying all day to everybody. And by the way, getting laughs from everybody around the office. But my question was more to try to make Conan laugh. I was doing the bit for everybody, but I hadn't done it to Conan. So I said, Harrison, thank you. I just dressed up. And do I normally look like shit or whatever? And then no one knows what to say because it's an insane thing to ask. And Sona, who is a genius, says the thing which gets everybody the joke, which is he used the opportunity to ask a question about himself.
Yeah.
And if you watch the clip,
watch the clip.
Everyone is confused. Yeah. Everyone is confused. And then Sona says that, and everyone immediately gets the game, gets the bit, and then piles on me like, "What the fuck?" And then Harrison Ford said, "Shut the fuck up," which is amazing and a huge honor. And then obviously right afterwards he said, we're wearing the same thing. He's the nicest person in the world. He's the person you want him to be. He's so funny and just really, really kind and nice. And so, but Sona really deserves the credit for that clip.
Oh yeah, that clip is, and I just wanted to get the "shut the fuck up" in there because it's incredible. That's not the only person who's told you to shut the fuck up on the podcast, right?
Right. Yeah. And then Tom Hanks said also in almost exactly the same way, "Shut the fuck up," because I kind of busted in talking about a comic book. Movie
but no, watch that whole clip.
Brilliant. Tom Hanks, another just exactly the person you want to be, the nicest.
Yeah, that Harrison Ford episode. I'm you guys. They've only posted a few of the full episodes online. Harrison Ford is obviously one of them, and that entire episode is just really fun.
He's great, and it's just. Man, I'll say I will never be jaded. Like I am just absolutely talking about Tom Hanks. I just have Forrest Gumped my way into whatever. However, I do not know. I feel so lucky and grateful to have the job I have. I obviously work very hard, but man, it is just, you see these people in real life and you just can't believe that they exist. You just cannot believe.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford is walking around on this earth. I had an Indiana Jones lunchbox, Temple of Doom lunchbox. I mean, it's just crazy. It's just so weird. It's really weird.
He's
incredibly
two of
cool.
the most iconic characters in all of cinema, and it's
Oh my god!
it's crazy to think that, you know, and they're not, they're, you know, Han Solo, Indiana Jones, great characters, but like it's almost selfish for someone to be like, yeah, these two iconic people, this one dude,
Yeah.
and you look at him and you
just
see Han Solo and you're like, that's Harrison Ford. You see Indy, that's Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
It's just so cool. I mean, you know, and you know, I will say, like, there are people, I get really starstruck by people who you just don't normally see, because people have asked me who've been the most starstruck by. Obviously Harrison Ford, Tom Hanks, these people are gigantic, but there is a certain weird kind of side thing where I get very starstruck by people who just, I'll give you the perfect example. We were doing a week of shows at the Apollo Theater in New York, right? Amazing theater. And we're doing a week of shows, and the green room is in the basement. So I'm in the basement, and that day, that show, we're doing a bit with, or no, it's better to tell the story this way. I'm in the basement, and I'm trying to get up the nerve to talk to somebody. I'm standing by the coffee machine, and somebody goes, "Oh, hey, sorry, man, can I get some coffee?" And I turn around, and it's Ryan Reynolds. And I was like, "Oh, sorry, man." He goes, "Oh, yeah." And I'm like, "Oh, dude, I'm a huge fan." He's like, "Oh, thank you so much." And I'm chatting, and I go, "Dude, I'm really nervous." And he goes, "Why?" And I go, "That guy over there is the voice of the MTA subway." He's the guy who says, "Stand clear of the closing doors." And Ryan goes, "No shit." And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh my God." And I was like, "I know. I want to go talk to him." He's like, "You got to go talk to him. You got to go talk to him." And I was like, "I know, man. I got to get over there." And like, so funny. Ryan Reynolds, also a hilarious, super nice dude, gassing me up to go over because I was too nervous. And then so I did. I went over and talked to him. That guy was really, really nice. And he did a little video with me, and you know, where he said the thing, and it's so crazy. And that's actually also a very special moment, because you know, now that guy has transitioned into a woman, she does not use that voice anymore. So that was like a very a specific window in time. Yeah. It doesn't exist anymore. And I lived in New York for like 10 years and heard her voice every single day, multiple times a day. And now even when I travel back to New York, that is one of the coolest things ever, that I can be like, "Oh my God, I met that person. That's insane." You know,
does she still do it, or is it like, was it like a recorded one time? And they've just used it like.
What do you mean? No, they didn't say it live. Do you know?
No, not that, obviously. No, I don't. No, I've never been on a train in New York. I don't know if that's more not of hey, you know, doors opening, but like this is closed, anything like that.
New York is what people want Las Vegas to be.
Yeah,
it's a place where you can actually have a crazy adventure, and it's just like, whoa, you know, Las Vegas is everything's far apart. I love Las Vegas, but
but everything's just like
Fremont Street is great, but
yes.
But yeah, anyway. But all that to say, how crazy! I mean, I was truly starstruck to be like, "Oh my God, amazing voice of the MTA subway, incredible." And also like Stephen King is up there for me. I'm a huge King fan. Ever since I was like in third grade when I read It, my parents weren't paying attention. You know, and so I got
best
to
way to get into anything.
I know, that's right. Got to meet him when I was at late night. That was really up there for me. Because authors just, I'm a huge voracious reader. So,
yeah, like I said, I have a book. It's the first book that I've.
Yeah, Mark Hoppus.
It's the first book that I bought in probably a decade.
I haven't met Mark Hoppus. I said hi to him once at like a convention, but for the Legally Prohibited from Being on Television tour, that tour manager, Gus Brandt, genius, awesome tour manager, also the tour manager for Blink-182 and Foo Fighters, and so. Yeah, so he's great dude. I think he was our tour manager for when we did the stand-up tour, a night of stand-up and investment tips. Mm-hmm. I think he was also our tour manager for that. But yeah, great guy. And so there you go. There's the Mark Hoppus.
There's the Hoppus link too. There's a Hoppus link too.
What book did you have, Mike? What book did you have?
Let's see. I mean, I had Android's Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick.
Oh, that's right, Philip K. Dick.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, is that your first? What's your favorite Dick book?
That is my first.
Oh,
So,
nice, dude.
yeah.
I like it. Great start. Great start.
Yeah, no, it's a great one.
He's great, man. A lot of good. I'll say I'm a huge Philip K. Dick fan. A lot of great short stories. That guy.
Oh, they're so good.
You know the story of Philip K. Dick, that he would just do an insane amount of drugs and write books.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So a lot of his books, just like 80% of the way through, just when the drugs hit,
they hit
bonkers. Truly bonkers. And I've said this before, but this is my favorite example of this. Is there's a book called The Galactic Pot Healer. It's about a guy who heals pots, right? There's pots and he's it's like in space or something. It starts with that. Ends with two planet comprised only of two ocean-sized gods fighting, and you're just like, what is happening? What is the link?
How did we get from A to B?
You would never go back and like copy edit anything. So you're just like, this doesn't. What is happening? Like, yeah, he's written some bangers, man. Blow My Tears, The Policeman Said, great. Valis, fantastic. Man in the High Castle, which they made into a show.
Mm-hmm.
Great stuff. Now, guys, did you see Blade Runner 2049?
I have not yet.
No. Did you see Blade Runner?
Oh yeah. Oh god, yeah.
No. All right. Robert, did you see Blade Runner 2049?
No, I've not seen any of the Blade Runner, either the films or like the short films. I know there's a lot of movies in my my like blind spot of movies is huge. Just so many things I just haven't watched.
What's the last movie you guys saw?
The name's escaping me right now. Hold on.
Okay, not movie buffs. That's
if we're talking about new movies, I could not tell you. If we're talking about the last movie that I watched, it was Role Models on my phone.
Oh,
because I was super drunk on Thursday night. Role Models, Sean William Scott and Paul Rudd.
Okay.
And they're two dudes who work at like a
big brother,
energy drink,
big sister.
Kind of, yeah. They work like an energy drink thing. They get arrested or because of shit, and they have to be like the big brothers in this thing, and they're role models for. Great. It's like Christopher Mintz-Plasse, and I don't know the other kid's name. Just comedy from 10, 15 years ago, but I don't know why. I was drinking at a bar, and I was talking to some random people at the bar, and when I got back to my hotel room, I was like, I want to watch Role Models right now.
Dude, great. I love that.
Dude. Yeah.
I used to do a thing. I would get hammered and aspirationally buy music. So this is kind of before Spotify.
Yeah.
But like I'd be like, like I get hammered, and then like a week later, get a package. I was like, what is this? And I'd open it up. It's like Vivaldi's The Four Seasons. CD set? What the fuck? And because drunk, I'd be like, I need to listen to more classical or whatever. I'd be like, like Esquivel, Space Bachelor Pad music from the 50s. Okay, like what is? So now, whenever I get drunk, it's much cheaper because I'll just look at my Spotify history and be like, okay, I was listening to Vivaldi. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm not spending like $50 buying a CD set.
Just trying to figure out what's going on.
What is up, dude? Exactly. But I love though, like drunk version of you versus, like the drunk version of me just wants to be a better, smarter person. Like I pass out and I wake up and I've bought like 2 physics textbooks or something. I'm like, I was trying to learn, about the transference of heat. While I was like all drunk and stuff. So
drunk me is just an idiot and wants to watch dumb things or look on Steam at things that are on sale and end up buying games that I'll never fucking play.
That's true. You know what though? You should take a day. If I could make a suggestion to you, as somebody who also buys a lot of games, and I do this every once in a while, I will take like an afternoon and be like, I'm just gonna go through and just try. Everything gets 5 minutes, and just get in there. And just try, because I found some really good. The thing is, like Andy, we are in a golden age. They say we're in a golden age of television. We are truly in a golden age of games right now. Like indie games are so great. Oh my God, have you played Thank Goodness Thank Goodness You're
Yeah,
Here?
I haven't finished it, but I've put a few hours
You just
into it.
found your
Love it.
Switch, man. I
Yeah.
know the next game. Thank Goodness You're Here. Get that game, dude.
Yeah, the Switch is an indie powerhouse.
It really is. Yeah, it really is. Yeah. And yeah, so yeah, take an afternoon, work through it, work through that queue, man, because you'll find some good stuff. What I'm trying to say is trust the drunk you to have made some good choices.
Yes.
Yeah. Trust the drunk you to have made some good choices.
I bought something last night. Actually, it was something I was looking forward to, and then it popped up on my Steam wishlist saying it was on sale, so I bought it. I don't know when I'm going to get to it though. It's called Slay Away Camp 2.
Okay, sounds cool.
It's a puzzle game.
Right.
Where I don't know what the type of puzzle is, but you're controlling a little serial killer moving around on a board. And you can only move, like, when you move, you just go in a straight line until you hit a wall, and you're trying to kill all of the people on the board.
Oh.
And most of the time it's just go over here, over here, over here. There's other obstacles that get added in the way, like, oh, if you go this way, this person will run out of the board and then they've escaped. Later on, it's like, here's police. If you cross them, they'll kill you, like stuff like that. But Slay Away Camp 2, just bought that one. I'm currently... Today's Tuesday. This is going up on Thursday, so I'm allowed to talk about it. I'm currently playing a game that is, as of right now, as we're talking, there's an embargo, but this is going up on Thursday, so I'm allowed to say that I'm playing it. My most anticipated game of the year, Claire Obscure Expedition 33. I got a review code for it, and I'm...
Oh, nice.
Never even heard of it. Give me the.
You haven't heard of that? It's a... What, like, kind of set into like a fantasy world, like a weird fantasy world. The whole idea of it is that it was there's this character called the Paintress who will every year write or paint a giant number on like a giant monolith that everybody sees, and whatever that number is, anyone who is that age or older immediately dies, and it's like the end of Endgame, or no, Infinity War, where just, you're up into smoke and you're just gone. So the expedition is every year there are people that are going to be the next year's, too old. So this one was everybody that's 33 and older is dying. So the next year it's going to go down to 32. So everyone that turns 32, and that's how it's going on. So every year they send an expedition of people to try and stop this from happening, and no one's ever been able to stop it from happening. So the Paintress every year is doing this and just decimating the world.
He sucks. But what's her problem?
I don't know. She seems like an asshole. She's just like sitting there the whole time, and then she gets up once a year, puts a number up, and then goes back to sleep.
Also, not a smart idea to go lower. So somewhere you're just gonna have like a bunch of 5-year-olds running around. Like, I don't get. What is the point of?
I don't know what she's trying to do. I don't know what she's trying to do. Bley, I just started it.
I just started it. You gotta play that game. Gotta play that game, and you gotta stop her.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Bley, you're not gonna like it.
Turn-based.
Turn-based. Yep. Okay. Yeah.
I mean,
more of like an active turn-based though. Very much like Persona 5, I would say. So you're obviously it's turn-based fighting, but then when you are getting attacked, you can dodge or parry, which will then add if you parry it, you give damage to them on their turn, stuff like that. So a lot more actiony than just turn-based. So
see, I believe, guys, we never stop evolving. We can constantly keep evolving. We can keep learning as long as we're curious. And we hold ourselves to a higher standard. I used to hate card games. I used to hate card-based games. Your Hearthstones, your XY, whatever. I don't even know another example. But Inscription brought me to love card games. Now I love them. Yeah. So you know what? I think Balatro I loved all these other games. And so I think there's space in my heart for turn-based games. I just need to find the right one to kind of the gateway drug to get me into them, and then I think I'll love them. So it's not hopeless for me. I'm gonna keep trying. I used to hate puzzlers, and I've been obsessed with blueprints. So there you go.
Blueprints.
Great. Have you played, Mike? Have you played Blueprints?
I have not. No. But
it's kind of an interesting idea. It basically is you inherit this kind of magical house. that every day it resets, so all the rooms disappear. And you, as you're going through this house, every time you open a door, you get a choice of one of 3 rooms, and you're trying to kind of make your way up to the top of this floor plan, and then figure out how to solve the puzzle to get into the 46th room. There are 45 rooms in this house, but there's a magical 46th room. You got to find it and figure out how to get in. And it's one of these roguelites where you keep the whole point is to go over and over and over, and then you get a little permanent upgrades as you go on. So it's fun.
You're essentially making the blueprint of the house as you're going. So you go through one door, and then you get an option of different rooms that you can now make this next room into. My only gripe with it, and I've only played the demo, so I know other stuff comes up later, but it does seem like there's a lot of RNG involved. So like if you're trying to get the rooms and everything, random number generator to like the point where you're going through a door and it's like, oh, I need a room where I can go straight and then turn left. But then when you go through the door, the whole randomization thing, it's only going straight into a wall or going right, or it's a closet, and then it's like, okay, well, it's not I don't mean
to spoil. No spoilers. As you go through the game, perhaps that's adjusted.
Yeah. Okay.
Perhaps
I need to play it more.
There might be something in the game that helps you solve that. The other thing I'll say is I almost feel, having played a lot of it, the opposite, which is really interesting. I almost feel like, because there's a couple, I want to be very careful how I talk about this game, because I don't want it to be spoiled for people like Mike who haven't played it. But I think that there's a lot of big reveals in the game and big puzzles and things that change the nature of kind of how the game, how you decide to play the game. And I think that I've felt like I have gotten close to several of these moments and been almost dead and been really frustrated. And I feel like the game has helped me out.
Okay.
I feel like the game has weirdly given me like random power-ups when to help me across the finish line like 2 or 3 times. Like weirdly, like I'll be like, oh man, I can't fucking believe, like 2 days ago, like I was like, I can't believe I did all this and now I'm not going to get to, and all of a sudden, and then I did, and then I was like, whoa. So I almost feel the opposite, that it's not random.
Okay.
I almost feel like maybe there's a adjuster in there, and they were like, because I suck, would have quit. Had I wouldn't have quit.
Hey, no negative talk.
Thank you. You know what? I appreciate that. But yeah. So anyway, I that game, I do feel like it's worth your time. I do feel like it's the kind of game like Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, where I'm just going to quit because I'm not smart enough to do it. It's just I've
heard a lot of people comparing the two, Blueprints and Lorelei, and there are a lot of people that say, yes, some of the puzzles in Lorelei I had to look up because there was no way for me to just even understand how to do it, and there were quite a few people that quit the game because of that. And some of the reviewers that I've seen that are talking about that compared to Blueprints is they've been more on the side of I've been frustrated with Blueprints at times for that RNG. Sometimes I'm not getting the room, and then the next day, something happens, like you just said, where it almost feels like I'm about to get stuck, but then the game kind of throws me a lifeboat, and then I can continue going this night and just learn more. But yeah, I've definitely heard that comparison between Lorelei and Blueprints, but for the most part, it's been, it's not as difficult and like unforgiving as Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. So
you guys saw Age of Ultron, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Or the end of Age of Ultron, Ultron's almost escaped. Then Vision comes down and kind of,
just does
the
it.
last one.
Just does a thing, yeah.
Well, besides doing a thing, they have a nice little exchange there, which is not new. It's not. Age of Ultron didn't come up with this sentiment, but the sentiment is Ultron kind of says, these humans, you're such a sucker. They're dumb. They're going to destroy themselves. And Vision says, yes, but life isn't beautiful because it lasts. Life is beautiful because it ends. That's kind of, like, put another way, the kite doesn't work without the string, right? Like you need the end of life to have any sort of meaning within life. And I think that to draw it back to the difference between Lorelei and Laser Eyes and Blue Prince, one thing I find that really helps is the limit. You only have a day in Blue Prince till everything resets.
Yeah.
Because you have that day, psychologically, you have this feeling of like, oh, I'll do better tomorrow, or I'm going to figure that out tomorrow, rather than I've hit a dead end, that's it. In Lorelei, you're kind of like, well, I can't figure out any of these puzzles, so I guess I'm just stuck. Whereas in Blue Prince, it's like, even if I can't figure out a puzzle, first of all, there's a lot to do, but even if I can't figure out a puzzle, eventually the day starts over and you start at zero. And I think that that's a good thing, to draw it all the way back around to what we were talking about at the beginning with us doing a daily show at Conan. You know, one thing I think that I always appreciated was we get another shot tomorrow. We get another bite at the apple. And when I would do a Clueless Gamer and it wouldn't go as well as I wanted it to, or it wasn't, you know, I felt like I didn't do as well as I thought I could. The prospect of, you know what, we got another show tomorrow. I'm going to do better in the next Clueless Gamer. I think that is it. That is and people always ask me, what's your favorite Clueless Gamer? And I always say the next one, which is true, you know?
Yeah, and I can vouch for that because you've definitely, in streams, you've been asked that. Like, what's been your favorite Clueless Gamer? That is something that I've heard from you multiple times.
Yeah.
Is the next one.
I just want to keep it going. Yeah. And, you know, our next one is going to be Borderlands 4 in conjunction with Robert Smigel's charity for autism. Which
Borderlands. Okay.
Borderlands, exactly. And so, but you know, I like to keep doing them. I like making stuff. I'm curious. I'm driven. I enjoy trying to make people laugh and make them happy and connect with them. So, but I think with Blue Prince, the same thing. There's hope in the next day. There's
the
hope
next day I might have a better shot.
That's right.
And once again, when I played it, it was just the demo, and up front they say, hey, this is the demo. You get 4 days in total, but you know they don't tell you. You know they didn't tell you what the days meant. It's just you could play for 4 days, and I'm like, oh, that's a long time, and then it's not.
Yeah.
But it's like you can play for 4 days, and then there are things that are missing from this demo that are going to be in the full version.
Cool.
You know, someone like
when I bought the game, it was like $24, and I was like, this is a lot for a puzzle game, but it's worth it. I mean, it's a massive game. It's really fun. I do have like this kind of theory about game pricing, which so far is held pretty true, which is like, you know, something like $5 and below. Great. Like somebody is like, it's probably going to be worth it. Very, very few games, especially if I'm playing like a game that's $2. I'm expecting less of it, right?
Yeah.
$5 game feels like, okay, this is like a good experience. You know, it's pretty great. I'll go like 5, 6, 7, 8 is kind of the limit of where like 8 and above, it's got to be something now. Now it's got to be like a good game. You know, the gloves aren't off, but you got to kind of, if not wow me, it's got to be worth my time, right? And weirdly, I kind of feel like the $10 game are the worst games. Weirdly, like, I don't know, and this is a blanket statement, like backed up by nothing than anecdotal evidence. Weirdly, it's kind of like there are a lot of games that I've played that are $10 that are great, but there's a lot of games that are not great. And I think part of it is for $10, I'm expecting something pretty substantial.
Yeah.
Right? I'm expecting something pretty substantial. And I think, and this again, I know this is not real life. This is not based on anything. But in my experience, people who make games that should be like an $8 game bump it to 10, and I'm like, no, this is a $4 game. And you've made it $10. You know, and then there's like the 10 to 12, which is always risky. You know? But if a game is like $24, and I'm like, wow, either these guys are psychotic and they're really full of themselves, or there's something about this game that I'm not seeing. And Blue Prince was that. I was like, this game is $24 is insane. But guess what? It is absolutely worth it. 1,000%.
Yeah, I picked it up on my.
I
picked it up in my fantasy critic draft, which is
okay. Oh, that's kind of fun.
I don't know if you've heard of that.
No, but I like the idea.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, like fantasy football, but with you get video games for the year, and then they score on the critics. It's gotten me a lot of points. So, and nobody else in the league had really even heard of it when I put a bid in for it, and then it came out I think a week or two later, And people were like,
now
what?
it's just ripping up the charts. Yeah.
Where did this go to? Where did this come from? Where did this come from? I was like, oh yeah, I've got it. Here's all these points. What's up?
I also love the art style of Blueprints is great. The soundtrack deserves a huge shout out. It's phenomenal. It's kind of jazzy and quiet, and I think in the last few years we've really seen video game music get the respect it deserves, which is like these composers are doing fantastic work, and everything from like Doom Eternal to something like Inscription, which oh my god, maybe my favorite video game soundtrack of all time. And yeah, I mean, video game music is really, really great. And, and of course it is. Like if I go, we all know what that is.
Yeah.
That is a hook on par with like Happy Birthday. That is like iconic. And it came from a video game.
Yeah.
I mean, you would be hard pressed to around the world hum a tune that is not more recognizable than like a Super Mario Brothers. Like truly. Like it's like, so I think I love that video game music is getting the respect it deserves.
I mean, and one of the things that I love. Oh, go ahead.
Mike, I need you to play Thank Goodness You're Here. Speaking of indie games.
I will.
I just feel like you getting your Switch and us talking now, it's cosmic, man. I think you have to get it. Great.
Also, Mike, it is in our shared stream or Steam library, so you can play it.
Hey, there you go.
On Steam anytime.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's gonna go
also, Blueprints is on Xbox Game Pass.
Hey.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah.
I feel like, what do you think about this trend in terms of, subscription versus console? Like Xbox is really putting a lot of effort into their Game Pass. And I think Starfield came out the same day on Game Pass as it did, on for digital download. And I've heard people say we're leaving the console wars and going to the subscription wars. What are your guys' take on that?
Mike, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm listening. I'm just gonna go grab a drink real quick, but I'm listening.
Okay.
That's why it's wireless. Okay. Yeah.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah.
You don't have to drag that cable all across the house. Yeah, it definitely feels like I wouldn't say we're in the subscription like streaming wars just yet. It feels like we're kind of in that weird lull, like between the end of World War I and the beginning of World War II.
Okay.
Like, yeah, it's like something big just happened.
Mm-hmm.
We all know something big is gonna be happening sooner than later.
Right.
But in the meantime, we don't know what's going on, but we just know something else is happening. And I say that because, yeah, it feels like Microsoft has just punted on the Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if punted, but definitely it feels like they're promoting Game Pass quite a bit.
Yeah, it feels like the Xbox is there and they're going to promote it to an extent. It's like a show that doesn't get picked up for, another season. It's just like, yep, have fun on Friday night. Bye. Like we'll air a commercial here or there, but that's kind of the feeling I'm getting from Microsoft and Sony. I think what they have is getting better, but I don't think it's quite a true competitor just yet to Game Pass. And I only say that because I'm sitting in a room with 4 devices, and 3 of them I can get Game Pass on and play games on. So,
wow. Cool.
Yep.
It's pretty cool. Robert, what do you think?
Yeah. So I mean, I think Game Pass is one. It's an incredible deal. Best deal in gaming. Whatever.
It is the one subscription thing that I've had this discussion with my girlfriend about, like, what would we cut as far as like streamings or subscriptions go, and I'm like, I'm willing to cut a lot, but Game Pass, that's going to be like the last thing.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
thanks for your buck.
Sorry, I'm heading to Booze Town.
Hey,
no worries.
But no, Game Pass.
I probably have about 10 more minutes just to give you a heads up.
Totally fine.
That's fine.
We'll talk about Clueless Gamer here in a moment.
We can talk about whatever you want.
Yeah,
whatever you want. What flavor of Booze Town you headed into?
I'm going to Kona Big Wave Just a liquid Aloha. I don't even know what kind of beer this is.
Is it a beer? What?
It's a beer. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
beer.
it's
Nice.
it's like a
lager or like a pilsner. I don't know what the fuck it is.
it's like
it's premium beer.
I used to drink beer, and now I just basically drink tequila, straight tequila. But I'm from Michigan, and Bell's Brewery has this insane two-hearted ale. It's so good and strong, but
what's
really
the brewery called?
It's called Bell's.
Bell's.
Like
Brewery?
ding ding. Yeah, dude. And also Oberon is like their summer beer. If you're a beer person.
Ooh.
It's delicious. It's like citrusy. A cold Oberon on a hot day.
I love it.
Yeah, they got Bell's is just it's absolutely tremendous. But yeah, order some and let me know what you think.
It's sometimes we can't here in Utah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, like it's blocked. It's like this one or two states that we cannot ship to, in Utah's. If they can't ship somewhere, it's Utah.
Interesting. Wow. Utah.
It's like Utah.
Are you guys both
Utah
in
and
Utah?
Kansas. We are.
Yeah. Cool. Oh man, I love Utah. It's so
That's
pretty.
great.
Man.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know what? Season 3.
Just
There you go.
Yeah,
there it is.
But actually, it
I
goes.
would love for us to do like a domestic state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do Salt Lake? We'll take y'all to a Real Salt Lake soccer game. You know.
There we go.
Big old tailgate. Do the first
you...
tailgate of the season with the homebrew competition that we do every year.
Nice.
Yeah, that's actually where this glass is from. It's from
Hey.
I don't know what year that is.
Now,
But speaking of
can I just say very quickly? When
Yeah.
I turned 21, my sister gave me a beer making kit.
Ooh.
And I was like, I'm going to make my own beer. But I don't want to just make any beer. I just want everybody
I want to
makes
make an
beer.
IPA. No.
I want to do some kind of special beer. I've never had rhubarb beer, right? Like, I'm going to make rhubarb beer, and I know how to do it. So
I've cracked the code.
I've cracked the code, dude. So stupidly, this is kind of before the internet was helpful. I was like, I'm sure you could just chop up rhubarb chunks and put it in the thing and it'll come out like rhubarb, right? So I do this whole thing, whatever, and I do the thing, and you have to like ferment it for however long. We crack it open. I was living with my 3 friends in college. We crack it open. It tasted exactly like honey baked ham. Like if you had like put a honey baked ham in a blender. It was so fucking gross. It was so gross.
Oh my
and then,
god!
So it stayed, and you could only make 4 giant things of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't.
You can't make a glass of. Yeah.
You couldn't make a glass. You had to make 4 huge tanks of it. So it sits on the counter untouched for months, and then one of my roommates, who shall be unnamed, we're having some drinks. Things get a little crazy, and he eventually drinks all 4, and then rides his bike down the hall and out of and like jumps his bike. I think it gave him superhuman powers off the porch, and I went running after him, and it was all icy, and I fell down the stairs and almost died. And then he rode his bike down. He's like, "What?" And because we called it ham beer, so he screamed, "Ham beer!" It's like I just saw. I was like, I have this like memory of like laying on my side, like trying to breathe as I fell down the stairs, and just seeing sideways him ride down the street, just screaming. Oh my god! Anyway,
I'm assuming you were
don't try to
screaming
make
ham beer
rhubarb
because
flavored-
the mic cut out.
Right, there we go. Ham
Yeah,
beer.
yeah,
There
Sorry,
we
I
go.
screamed ham beer really.
yeah.
That's amazing.
But yeah, so don't try to make rhubarb homegrown beer is what I'm trying to say.
No. Or try other things first. Work your way up to rhubarb.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And then you can make it at the homebrew competition at RSL and not get any votes because it's probably going to still taste like shit. No offense. No offense.
That's right.
But a lot of
It's going to taste like something, not rhubarb.
A lot of the things at this homebrew competition, I mean, for me at least, no thank you. A lot of IPAs, and then a lot of really, really dark stouts and coffee-flavored stouts. And then there's like 1 or 2 like ciders, typically. So,
Yeah.
But $5, you get a glass, you get to try a bunch of different beer. Even if you don't like it, fuck it, it's still beer. By the end of it, I'm like, everything's great.
Love it. I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
All right,
but-
hit me with your Clueless Gamer questions. What do you got?
Yes. So, well, I was actually we were talking about Game Pass and kind of everything, and how now Xbox, everything's on Xbox, and reminded me of this. Like, is this the latest Clueless Gamer, the Death Stranding director's cut?
Yes.
Is that
with,
the
Hideo Kojima?
Yeah, and you wearing a suit, a tuxedo?
Me wearing a suit. That's right. Yeah, we went to upscale. It was part of a Samsung thing, which was great. And that was a really crazy time because we were filming. We were filming the New Zealand show, and I had to play. I bought a Steam Deck to play because I had to. When we do Clueless Gamers, I have to play through the game and kind of write all this stuff and find different areas that would be good for him to play because he sees it for the first time on camera, so I can get his real reactions. And we were in New Zealand, and so I spent a lot of time in the van in New Zealand playing Death Stranding because I had to find him in the game. So I'm like playing, on and on and on. And it was interesting being in New Zealand because it looks like the game looks like New Zealand, even though I think it's like Greenland or Iceland. But so I would look outside and be like these stony brooks and these like jagged, sharp mountains and like moss and lichen and stuff. And then I would look down at the game and be like, "Yep, I'm in, and I'm out. I'm in it, and I'm in it." Like. And so all during in New Zealand, I played the game and wrote stuff. So we would film all day, and then I would go back to my hotel room and I'd write a bunch of jokes and kind of take notes on where to play and all that stuff. And then we came back 3 days later. We shot that Clueless Gamer. Oh, and also like there was this whole thing of, we pitched Hideo and his team on being in, because Conan is in the game. So we pitched them on, hey, do you want to be part of this Clueless Gamer? And so that was a whole thing. So I was like working with Conan and writing. So I would like go to his hotel room and we'd like work on the script and and send it off to Kojima's people. And then they're in Japan. So then it would take like a day to come back. Anyways, it was a crazy, New Zealand was a very crazy trip for a lot of reasons. And then we came back. They shot Hideo's and his team shot their piece like a day, and we got it like the day before we shot our thing, and then we shot our thing, and then the next week we went to Spain. So then we hopped on a plane, and then so in Spain every day we would shoot all day, and then I would come back to the hotel room, and then I would get on Zoom with our editor, and I would spend like all night editing with our editor. And then sleep for like 3 hours and then wake up and shoot all day in Spain and then come back and do more editing. And so that was those 2 trips were difficult, very
like
difficult.
back to back. And then you're doing this Clueless Gamer in the middle of them. Now,
yeah, it was difficult.
You've just,
but exciting.
You've just ruined part of it for me. It's scripted. It's not all just off the, come on, Aaron.
What's scripted?
The Clueless Gamers, you write jokes.
Oh, no.
No, it's supposed to. Every single thing's supposed to be improv all the time, every time,
Well, it is. What I say when I say I'm writing jokes, what I mean is like I will give him different areas of the game. So I like to have like 5 or 6 areas loaded up, and then within each area, I have like an angle or a game, like an improv game or something of why we would do that, right? So, and there's different things I'll put in there. Like I'll say. What's a good example? We did, what's a good example?
I can scroll through these.
A good example, like a joke I wrote, but then he would do something. I mean, it's mostly improv. I'm trying to think. You know what a great example is? Here's a great example. Just generally would be like a joke I would write is like, this guy looks like X. Like let's say in a game, we'll go into a room and I'll be like, this guy looks like Guy Fieri or something, like in that thing. Yeah. He might take the bait. He might be like, oh, that guy does look like Guy Fieri, or maybe not. But yeah, I mean, no. I mean, when I say I'm writing stuff, it's basically like, I like to say I'm constructing the jungle gym and then he plays on it.
Okay.
So, another good example of something that would be set up be like when we did talking about WrestleMania, the WWE game, and I had made him all noodly, like all crazy noodly. So that would be like something I wrote. Or one thing we didn't do, that bummed me out because I just forgot was when Lil Wayne and Tony Hawk were playing the Tony Hawk game. And Lil Wayne was so funny that we didn't need any stuff loaded up, but I had like a dimension with all couches, and I was calling it Couchella. That like Conan made. Oh, I made Couchella, but we never did it, which is crazy. But no, yeah, I mean, Conan is the thing about Conan is if you give him anything, he'll make it 100 times funnier. But you also don't need to give him anything. I mean, like for the Marshawn Lynch Gronk, the first one we did with Mortal Kombat, we had all this stuff loaded up because we didn't know that Marshawn was so funny. Because he had never done a comedy, but now we all know him as this great, amazing, hilarious guy. But you know, we taped that on the day he said, "I'm only here so I don't have to get fined." So he did that, and then he came to shoot Clueless Gamer. So, you know, we had like all these bits where it was like, you know, Marshawn, we know you love Skittles. Rock, here we have a giant side of beef for you. And then we had these guys. We transported a whole foam side of beef for this Gronk joke we didn't use because Marshawn was so funny. So yeah, I mean, certain things in there, I think the thing is you have to have it. So, you know, many times I will write stuff because you only get X amount of time. Conan's very busy, and you know, you have this camera crew, the lights are on, you've got makeup, all this stuff. When you're in the room, you are burning time. Everything takes 60% longer than when you're playing it or doing it yourself. And so, but you have to get it. You have to get it, or else you're fucked. So you just you got to go in there with a safety net. And so with my notes, I'll have 12 pages of notes and stuff loaded up, and we'll do 2 pages of it, if that. And but because he's seeing it for the first time on camera, so if you don't have it, you gotta have it. You can't leave the room without having it.
That was another one of my questions that you've answered. Is like what
gotta get.
Because obviously, you know, you're playing the game, and I think you told the story recently about how you had, and I don't remember if you mentioned what game it was, but you had multiple like Xboxes that all had different saves. For different, because you can only have one save per.
I had like 6 Xboxes. 6 or 7.
Yeah.
They're all with different saves.
So you're the one who's kind of like setting up, hey, we're doing this, then we're doing this, and then we're doing this, and then so Conan doesn't actually see any of the stuff. Does he look up what the game is beforehand at all? You know, well, like you know, we're going in. Hey, we're doing The Witcher 3. You know, so you have a bunch of save files for The Witcher. You know, stuff like that. So
how it works? No, how it works is I'll be like, hey, we're gonna do this game and this thing, and then right before we shoot, I'll go up to his office. Or when we had the TV show, we would have like Todd Levin was a great writer who would come in and work on those with me, and I'll sit him and we'll sit down and we'll go over the notes. So I'll be like, okay, here's the deal with this game, and I'll kind of give him the quick spiel. Not the spiel that I do in Clueless Gamer, but like here's the basics. Here's what it is. Yeah. It's a hack and slash game. You know, the main conceit of this game, the bit here is it's really bloody. Or with Plague Requiem, the bit here is it's all about the plague. And so rats are the enemy and you know, whatever. And I was like, that's the thing to keep in mind with this game. You know, we're going to do this first and then kind of this. And then, I'm probably going to have you do this chase scene. And then he'll be like, okay, that's enough. And he'll be like, okay, that's enough. That's, whatever. And that's about as much as he gets.
Okay.
If there's something really big, like a big set piece thing, like Death Stranding is a good example. We had the whole Hideo thing in there. So, but he knew that because we did that. We worked on it together.
Yeah, it's not like they just took a picture of him and like he's in the game now. Yeah, he did it.
Right, but as much as I'm taking him through the game, I'm taking him through the production. And that's the biggest thing. And like, that's a big thing with the podcast too. Like today we recorded and I was like, okay, man, here's what we're going to do. Right? Like the day looks like this. Here's the shape of the day. It's going to be this. Then we're going to stop and move the cameras. Then we're going to do this just so he knows. And same thing with production. So I'll be like, so this bit, we'll start on you and you'll introduce me. I'll say the spiel. We'll go through the thing. Then I'm going to change into the tuxedo. And then we're going to stop down and we're going to do, you're going to get 5 minutes as we set up the interview piece, then we're going to do the interview piece, and then we're going to stop down and then do the rest of the thing. He's like, great. So I think it's more of just kind of what's the rundown of the bit and the day. And also, keep in mind, Conan is like us. He's like just a cool, normal guy. So like when I say you got to make sure you get it, he wouldn't let us stop without being like, do you have it? He's not going to be like, okay, that's all you get from me.
Yeah.
He will go and he will go. He also wants it to be really good. And so he'll be like, okay, like he's like, I think we got a lot of stuff. How do you think? How do you feel? And I'm always like, I think I feel pretty good. But also like, I will also have another writer, or like for Death Stranding, it was Mike Sweeney in the room also as an impartial observer because I also don't know if we have it because I'm in it. I'm taking the test. So you don't know how you're doing when you're doing the test. And I'll be like, I don't know, Sweeney, what do you think? And he'll be like, yeah, no, you're good. He's like, or you know what? What about if you go back to like you could do a little more on this, and so it's nice to have somebody who's not emotional and doesn't have, 9,000 milligrams of adrenaline going through his system like I do when we're doing that thing, to be like impartially like, yeah, you got it. You can move on or whatever. Or a lot of times this is so boring. I'm so sorry, but
no, it's not. It's just fucking incredible. Are you shitting me right now?
I always like to have a moment with him where I try to set up a moment where we can both scream. That's fun. That's a fun climax of the bit, right?
Yeah.
And many times we'll be doing stuff and we'll just come up with stuff in the moment that then there's the end. There's our ender. We did it. We have it. That's probably 93% of gamers is we find something that's happening and he just gets obsessed with it. And then it becomes the running gag, but if not, I always like to have a set piece or of action, right? Of something, or I'll have something, a crazy explosion, or here's the time where here's the biggest gun and you just whatever. And so I always like to have that loaded up too. And so the question becomes for me, do we need this last piece? Right? We've been shooting for X amount of time. Everybody's hot. Room is tiny. There's a million people there. Everyone's staring at Conan and I. Do we have it? I think so. But what about if we do the last thing?
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, yeah, let's do the last thing. But my thing is always like, oh, like, do we have it? Do we need this? And then you get in the edit room, you realize, yeah, you have like 2 hours of good stuff. And then you got to cut it down to like 6 minutes. And you're like, ugh. My first cut of like the Death Stranding thing was like 23 minutes or something. I mean, it was insane. So, Conan gives you so much good stuff. It's just crazy. The way his brain works, I will never. And also, I always think he's going to go for certain stuff, and he always goes for other stuff I don't even notice. He just, and it's really funny, like the Skyrim's a great example. We did Skyrim, and he just met this woman in the market who like wanted a mammoth tusk.
Yeah.
And I was like, you gotta be kidding me, dude. And he's like, yeah, we gotta get this thing. I was like, all right. Well, that wasn't even something. I was like, where do we even get this? Like, then we had to just go and like find it. I mean, that was just like, we're off the reservation at this point. Like, we're off the rails. Where are we going? But it ended up being really funny. And we bring it back after this whole thing, and she hates him, and he just snubs him. And
Lydia.
There's so many moments in there that it's just great. But that being said, you have to over prepare. Comedy is being prepared.
Yeah.
Like you start on time, end on time, and the best compliment I could ever get is, oh, that's it? That's the best compliment. Like, oh, that's it? Oh, great. That's it. That it went by quick. Everybody had fun. And that comes from being prepared. That comes from going over every area 1,000 times. I'll do a thing where I'll try to get lost and then get myself back to where I need to be. What if this happens? What if he dies here? Where does he start? I just try to eat myself and puncture holes in my own plan. And so, when we're talking about going into everything, I always like to be over prepared, for Clueless Gamers, for everything, for live streams, podcasts, everything. For the radio, I'm doing this radio show, Blaze Arcade. I had like 6 pages of stuff loaded up, ready to go. And we used the first half of the first page.
Yeah.
Because callers were so great. But I had it. If nobody called, I had an hour's worth of material ready.
Yeah,
Right. So
God, I
anybody-
feel terrible now because obviously you've been talking about the radio show on your streams and everything, and I'm like I wanted to be like, yeah, we're gonna talk about that for a little bit, and we just kind of
okay.
we went off, man. I've had a great time here today, and
Yes, this was a blast.
great.
Thank
Yeah.
you guys. This was so much fun. Yeah.
you are more than welcome. I know that you have to get going.
Yeah, you got a heart out. So
Yeah.
I got somebody who's standing in my hallway who came 12 minutes ago. Who've been,
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
No. I was not saying that to make you guys feel
Yeah.
bad.
okay.
I was just saying it's
Yes.
But no, I will say that to thank you so much for having me on.
Yes.
I would love to come back. Thank you. But also I think for you guys as well, I love the fact you guys are making stuff. I think it's really great, really inspirational, and I wish more people made stuff. It's so easy to make stuff.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
We talked about doing this for so long before we started doing it, and now it's been we're over a year doing this weekly, and this is
Congratulations, man. That's
this is
great.
the thing that I look forward to most during the week.
Dude, and that's great. And
So-
and again, look, all behavior is purposeful. At a certain point, if you want to do something, you will do it. And I'm proud of you guys. I'm so thankful you guys had me on, and I'm proud you guys are making something. And yeah, it's great to get out there and put yourself out there. And you only get better as you continue doing things. So you got to get the reps in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll I mean, anytime you want to come back on, obviously.
Just let us know.
Obviously.
Thank you so much.
Maybe
Thank you so
maybe I don't know because I know Borderlands comes out. What is it? August?
Borderlands.
I
I'm
think
never
it's
going to
August?
call it Borderlands.
I know.
I think it
You
comes
should
out
though.
it comes out in, I'm not sure. I don't know when.
But yeah, when that Clueless Gamer goes up, we'd love to talk to you about that
Thanks,
as well.
man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yes. Well, fingers crossed it goes well. So everybody knows.
I mean, if it's like any of the other Clueless Gamers, it's gonna fucking be
every
crazy.
time it feels like, oh man, it's gonna fail, and then it's
Yeah.
never as bad.
I can tell you that the most recent one, that Death Stranding one, got me through work that day because I got a project that I did not want to fucking do at all. And then I got a thing from YouTube being like, "Oh, new Clueless Gamer." I was like, "No, they don't have this anymore." No, there is one. I put it on. I had it playing on a screen, just in a room, with my headphones and everything, so anybody walking by would see it and not hear it. And I just had it on a loop as I was doing this project because I'm like, it's fuck yeah. So, Bley, thank you so much. Everybody follow AARON BLEYERT on Twitch. He's also got the new show on SiriusXM.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it starts back up in May. So,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
All right.
And Conan O'Brien Must Go. Oh my god, dude, it's
Just
insane that you're here because we're just
Well,
we're gonna get slightly negative. We're just two dumb fucks from Utah who talk about video
two
games.
dudes from Utah.
No negative self-talk, Robert. I won't stand for it. Neither
Vibe
of you,
switch.
Mike.
Yep.
You guys are both
Vibe
great.
switch. Snowbike Mike vibe switch. Yeah.
There you go.
All right, Aaron.
Thanks for having me, fellas.
Thank
It's a
you.
blast.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mike.
Have a good night.